All right, I've got a solo episode for you today, and that is because you guys requested it. You guys wanted me to do another solo episode, so here I am. And I'm actually really excited about today's topic. It's one that is super relevant to what's going on today in the world with quarantine. Many of us are locked up with either family members, friends, roommates, significant others, and there could be some tension that is arising, right? And secondly, just beyond what's going on in the world right now, just in general, we all experience times where relationships are difficult. We have to deal with difficult people that are maybe not as easy for us to be our best selves with. And that's what this episode is all about. And personally, this is something that I feel I've really grown in over the last 4 or 5 years, especially the last couple of years, I would say the most. And I used to allow myself to get so triggered by people. I still do. I'm not saying I don't. Okay. I am human. I will say that I have gotten to a point where I don't define the quality of my life and my experiences based on the actions and reactions of other people. And I want you to get there too. It's a very powerful place to be, and it just requires some practice. And I'm going to teach you some tools in this episode and tips that will really support you in those moments when you are feeling frustrated, triggered, tension, any of those things. So let's dive right into it. By the way, if you see me glance down at the screen, it's because I wrote a bunch of notes for you guys. I want to make this episode as valuable as possible. So the first thing I want to say is that people do not have the ability to actually realistically make you feel any type of way. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. When I was a little girl, my dad used to say this to me all the time. No one can make you feel any way. If I said, you're making me angry, you're making me sad, you're making me frustrated, my dad would say, no. No one can make you feel any way. It is your interpretation and your chosen interpretation that is causing you to respond and feel that way, right? So my reaction is a consequence, and the feeling that arose within me is a consequence of how I chose to interpret a certain action or event or situation or something someone said. Okay. So that's like the ultimate power you can have, is when you're no longer giving your power away to other people and their actions. And you're actually knowing that, hey, I actually have the power to determine the quality of my experience right now and what I desire to feel. Now, yes, this takes mastery and practice to get there. Ultimately, though, that's where you want to be, right? That's where all of us want to be. So I'm going to go into a few things right now that are really key in getting you there. And the first thing I want to say is that you actually accept or reject people based on your past experiences with others and what you accept and reject about yourself. Okay, so let that sink in for a second. You actually accept and reject people and their actions based on who they resemble or what they resemble from your past experiences, or what you accept and reject about yourself. Okay, so in other words, everything's coming from you, whether it's your past experiences or your view about you, they're coming from you. So right there is, again, you taking back your power and knowing that the true healing in your relationships happen when you heal yourself, when you heal your past experiences, your past traumas, and when you heal the way your relationship with you. So it's something that you can notice too. If you can think of the people in your life that trigger you, or the quote unquote difficult people in your life, ask yourself, who does this person remind me of? Journal on that. Who does this person remind me of from my past? Or what about this person is actually something that I may not like about myself, that I'm being triggered by them because I haven't accepted this part about myself yet? So those are really can be tough questions to answer. We got to allow ourselves to go there. Okay, so there's a journal prompt for you. If you can think of someone right now that you feel is difficult and that you have a hard time with right there, that's something you can journal on right away from this episode. So the whole goal of this entire relationship journey that you will go on in your life with yourself and with others is for you to get to a place of full acceptance of yourself and releasing and cleansing out old past wounds, and then full acceptance of others exactly as they are. So the thing is everyone's on their unique journey, right? Everyone's on their own journey and they have their own unique personality, right? And when you are requiring people to meet you where you are and act a certain way that resonates and aligns with you, you're actually disrespecting and not even considering their unique journey and where they're at, okay? Because people are really doing the best that they know how at this point in time, given what they know or don't know. And also, this is another thing to remember, is that when people do lash out and react, that is actually their innocence acting out. Because like I said, remember, they're doing the best that they know how, given what they know or don't know. So that is their innocence acting out. And typically, our innocence, we all want the same thing. What do we want? We all want acceptance. We all want love. So that's a way that their innocence actually cries out and calls out for love and acceptance. So when you can look at it that way, you'll actually transform your own lens. You're now looking through a lens of love and compassion, which will simmer your own nervous system, right? So you're not being reactive and you're not getting upset and frustrated, and you're actually coming from a loving space. And now you have the opportunity to not just heal their heart and be there for them, but also heal yours in the process. And I'm gonna actually go into what I mean by that in a second here. Also, you guys have probably heard me say this a lot before, which is to be a stand for what you wanna see more of in the world. Unconditional stand. So to be an unconditional stand for what you want to see more of in the world. So that means that regardless of how people treat you, of how people act and what they do, that you are committed to and convicted to your truth and what you want to see in the world. Okay? So again, that's true mastery, when in the face of criticism and in the face of rejection, in the face of judgment and accusation, that you're still able to maintain your alignment and your truth. So when someone says something to you that may not feel good, doesn't feel good in your body, they say or do something, it just, you feel that aggravation happening within you, it actually offers you an opportunity to raise your vibration and raise your response rather than stooping down and lowering to their vibration, which is what a lot of us tend to do. So we're actually lowering ourselves to where they are at, when instead we have the opportunity to raise our vibration and actually offer them love, offer them compassion, offer them support, and be the stand. How would you want someone to treat you when you're in that state? So that's how you want to think of it. It's an opportunity for you. And so here's the thing. Every event, every circumstance, every person that enters your life has truly been orchestrated, divinely orchestrated by God, source, universe, whatever you believe in, to inspire your greatest personal growth. And not just your personal growth, but the growth of the collective, because we are one. And when you are focused on your healing, you can actually assist in the healing of others simultaneously. So going back to what I was talking about, when someone says something, that just doesn't feel good, just triggers you, let's say, okay? When that happens, I want you to focus on, now this is a tool. This is something that you can do in the moment. I want you to focus in on your body. Where in your body do you feel that sensation of whatever it is, whether it's anger, sadness, frustration, whatever it is? Where in your body do you feel that? And then place your hands on your body wherever you feel the discomfort, and you're going to breathe slowly into the discomfort, into the pain. Okay? What a lot of us tend to do is we tend to resist it because we don't want to feel it. But what do we know about that? What we resist persists and actually festers and grows, right? So this is an opportunity for you to heal yourself, because what happens is when we don't deal with it and we don't allow ourselves to breathe into a feeling, we actually end up bottling it up, and then we become explosive and we start projecting feelings on people, and then we become a difficult person to deal with, okay? And that's no fun for anyone. We don't want that. So get used to just taking a moment, feeling into where it is. And by the way, if you're having trouble locating where in your body you feel the sensation, a good go-to is either your heart or your solar plexus. That's usually a common place where we feel those things, especially like any kind of discomfort typically is in your heart or your solar plexus. So you can place your hands on your heart or your solar plexus, whatever feels better, and just take some moments and take some deep breaths and really feel into it. Remember this, when you are feeling, you are healing. Every time you embrace and allow yourself to feel something, you are literally releasing emotional debris from your cellular memory, from your cells. That's actually what's happening. Because otherwise, when you're resisting it and you're pushing it away and you're bottling it, it all stays in there. And all of us store all of our painful memories and our painful beliefs about ourselves. All those things are actually stored in our body. So when we breathe into our parts of our body and we allow ourselves to experience whatever we need to experience, we allow healing to take place. We allow release to take place. So that's the first tool. Don't resist it, breathe into it. Also, it's important for you to surrender the need to blame others and be quote unquote right. Okay. I can relate to this one. I had a huge, and I still battle my self-righteousness. I have a little, self-righteous little girl inside me that comes out and pops her head out from time to time. And I love her because I know why she's doing that, because I've done a lot of work around that. Okay. So what you really want to focus on doing is releasing that need, because as I said, well, first off, when we're trying to be right and wrong, we're actually creating separation. And the ultimate goal is oneness, right? The ultimate goal is unity and love. And there is no separation in unity. There is no separation in love. It is whole. So wrong, right creates a division between you and the other person. Another thing to do that is really helpful, even if this could be when you're in an argument, is slowing down your breath when you feel triggered. So you'll notice that when people are triggered, they're breathing really shallow. They have really shallow breaths. That's because their nervous system is super stimulated. It's overstimulated. So they're breathing fast, and they're aggravated and they're overstimulated. So this is an opportunity for you to slow your breath when you notice that in another person. So slow your breath. Slow it down. And you'll notice that right there in that moment when you decide to slow your breath, that actually you'll feel less stress and less pain because you're slowing down and calming down your nervous system. That's how we calm down our nervous system. Then prevent yourself from becoming overstimulated and matching their vibration. Remember, like I said before. So it's consciously choosing to raise your vibration, slow your breath, and get yourself to a place where you're able to respond in a way that is what you would want to be responded with. Like I said earlier, being a stand for what you want to see more of. So I hope this has been helpful so far. If it has been, please let me know. I love hearing from you in the podcast reviews on what really stood out. If you want to share it to your story, if anything stood out to you so far and feels good and you're excited to implement it, please let me know. I would love that, to hear from you. And by the way, this episode, I'm going to shout out to Matt Kann. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right. Kann. I'm reading his book, Whatever Arises, Love That. And this episode has truly been inspired by that book. This is the second time I've read that book. I highly recommend it. If you haven't read it, it's so beautiful. And I remember what it did for me the first time I read it. And so I'm rereading it again. And it's one of those books that I think I'll probably read at least once a year, every year. It's so good. So the questions that you're going to ask yourself when you're dealing with someone who is being quote unquote difficult and triggering you, or whatever it may be, ask yourself first, what emotion do they seem to be experiencing and feeling right now? Okay, so what emotion do they seem to be experiencing and feeling right now? Okay, cool. Say it's like anger. All right. Say it's needing to be right, whatever. That's not a feeling, but you get where I'm going. So anger, frustration, whatever the feeling is, identify it and then ask yourself the second question, which is, can I remember a time where I felt that way? And by the way, if you're not with the person and having this is something you can also, if you're a journaler like me, you can journal all of this out. So this can actually be another powerful journaling prompt, if you will. So can I remember a time where I felt that way? Okay, yes, I can. You've identified it. So once you've identified a time when you felt that way, ask yourself, what are the words that you wish someone else would have been able to tell you and say to you in that moment that could have helped you feel so much better? So again, ask yourself, what are the words that you could have heard in that moment that would have really supported you and made you feel better? Because again, remember, the goal is to raise vibration, not lower, raise. The next question, third question is, can I be the one that offers those words as a chance to heal both hearts, theirs and mine? Now, let me explain what I mean by, and I said this, I alluded to this really earlier on in the episode. What do I mean by a chance to heal both hearts? Okay, so your subconscious mind doesn't actually know the difference between what you say to yourself and what you say to others. You got that? Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what you say to yourself and what you say to others. So then all conversations, think about this, all conversations become a chance for you to reprogram your mind and heal your heart and grow. Every conversation, while also every conversation being a chance to give to others that same gift of healing their heart and facilitating their growth and reprogramming their subconscious, right? So it's just a powerful, when you look at it that way, it's truly an assignment to you. It's a divine assignment. And if you complete it, you will grow. And the divine assignment to complete is to simply offer up the words that you would long to hear. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. When you do this, when you offer up the words that you would love to hear or would have loved to hear if you were feeling that way, or when you felt that way before, this is the important part, okay? This is what a lot of people tend to do. I can say that I've done this before too. Okay, you swallow the pride, the ego, you set that aside, you return to love, and you speak this kindness from your heart to them, which is the thing that you would love to hear. And remember, you're assisting in the healing of your heart and theirs while you do that. And then they don't respond the way you wanted them to. Okay. So they still respond in triggered or reactive or whatever, right? So this is the key. This is the key. This is the key. Because in these moments, it can be so easy to be like, oh, I just said that great thing. And look, they're still being this way. Okay. You've got to release expectation for how they will how they should respond to you. You must, before you even say what you say, the loving words you choose to say, you must release any attachment or expectation in regards to the other person and how they respond or react. This is so important because this could send you back into a downward spiral. And no matter how anyone responds to your words, just by saying out loud the words that maybe you didn't hear often enough, you ensure yourself to be the one who exits the conversation, the situation, whatever it is, more healed, more aligned, more expanded than the moment before. So no matter how they respond, you just facilitated growth, healing, love, transformation, and you're walking away a better person than you came. There you go. So just remember that. Write that down. Remember that. It's so, so important. A lot of times we forget this. So we must release expectations around their response. Another thing is, if they still reject you, and by the way, if anyone rejects you, I want you to know that the catalyst of rejection is actually life's way of reminding you that other people were not created to treat you better than you treat yourself. Got it? They were not created to treat you better than you treat yourself. Every opportunity is a chance for you to treat yourself better. So every person that triggers you, all these difficult people, whoever this difficult person is, okay, they actually become a gift, become an opportunity to help you practice treating yourself better. And the way that you practice that is by how you treat them, by how lovingly you respond to them, by how lovingly you choose to interact with them. That's your growth. That's your healing. That's your self-love journey. And remember when I said at the beginning of this episode about how, I used to really struggle with relationships with others. And I found myself consistently feeling like, my worth and my happiness was kind of reliant on the way other people treated me. In other words, I found myself really lowering to their vibrations. So I was pretty much victim to the way people treated me. And that all happened. Like I would find myself becoming super easily triggered, super easily frustrated, annoyed, sad, depressed, all these emotions based off of the other people. And so how I really this is what my whole book talks about, by the way, is when I really, really accepted and loved myself, that's when I was grounded. I was rooted in who I am and my worth and my value and what I stand for, my truth. So you become unshakable, unwavering, so that you're not so volatile when other people are volatile, that you're actually rooted and grounded in your truth, in your alignment, in what you stand for. And this all comes from self-love, self-acceptance, loving and accepting yourself, loving and accepting your truth. So all these things that I just shared with you are ways for you to love yourself. So one thing I want you to do right now, or you can pause the episode or you can do it after the episode, is I want you to write out the words that you have always wanted to hear, that maybe you didn't hear enough or at all in your life and in certain hard moments of your life, maybe childhood, maybe a painful relationship, whatever it was. I want you to write down a personal love statement of what you would have longed to hear in that painful moment of your past. What are the words that were not spoken enough of to you? And how now, after you write that out, is your chance, your opportunity to speak those words to yourself, to give that gift to you, to heal your own heart. The only person responsible for your healing is you, my love, is you. And the person in charge of the quality of your relationships and of your life is you. So take back your power and offer yourself up the words that you would have loved to hear more often or at all. So let's see. We actually went through everything. So this is perfect. And I'm right at the end of when I need to be off this episode. So the one thing I want to say to really close this up is everything that I just went over really shows you that you don't need anyone to act a certain way. You don't need anyone to say anything or to act any type of way in order for you to feel harmony, bliss, and joy and love in your life. You got that? So, my loves, I hope this episode was powerful and that you got some value from it. If you did, please, please, please let me know either on Instagram, which is where I typically hang out, as you guys know, or by leaving a review on the podcast episode. I love you. I appreciate you. Remember, you're powerful, you're worthy, and this is a massive opportunity for you to practice loving yourself more than you ever have before. And I really do hope that you take that up and let me know how it goes. Have an amazing day.